texts about going to All right, it is 7 o'clock.
Maybe two.
7 o'clock on our committee as a whole to order. We have 2 items on our agenda tonight. The first one is the liquor license for Eagle Truck Stop. I had assigned it to Mr. Walker, but we didn't get a meeting set up for tonight, and it has to be in by the 11th. So I'm going to put it on for us to talk about this evening, and I know we've had no problems with Eagle Truck Stop, and does anybody have any objections to send it back in? We do not need a hearing.
No objection.
All right, I entertain a motion to put it on the agenda tonight for a voice vote.
I'll make that motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. In discussion of administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
What are we voting on?
To the
Liquor license for Eagle.
Eagle Truck Stop liquor
Oh.
license request.
So I didn't know we
No.
had a meeting. Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Sears.
Yes.
And Mr. Simmerling.
Yes.
All right, we'll have it on the agenda tonight for a voice vote. Our second item is the amendment resolution 8, 2025. It's a resolution to amend our amendment from last meeting and change some of the hours and the days. I'm going to turn it over to Chris. Maybe you could talk about the new hours and
Yeah.
times.
So just to remind everybody, I am the council representative on the DORA board.
Yes.
So it's two different things. So I'm representing the DORA board and I'm representing council. Just after the last 2 weeks, I wanted to make sure that people separate those two things because they are different. So the DORA board met and discussed some of the concerns that Councilwoman Ramos had, Councilmember Simmerling, and Carrie Metzger from Empower Tuscaloosa, who is also here again tonight. So we got together. Dee Grossman also reached out to Amy Wentworth from New Philadelphia Schools as well. So we got back together and discussed some of the issues that were brought up. And what was recommended by the DORA board was that we amend the hours that were originally on it. They were Sunday through Thursday from 12 to 9 and Friday, Saturday to 12 to 11. And the new hours will be Monday through Thursday, 4 to 9. Friday through Saturday, 12 to 10, and Sunday, 12 to 8. So that's what was amended. So that did take away Councilwoman Ramos' concerns about the lunch hours on every day but Friday. But it was being discussed with the DORA board. We feel that Fridays and Saturdays are the days that are heavily visited to our community and would continue to help the downtown businesses to have people in. And it was also discussed, just so you know, Councilwoman Ramos, about the churches on Sunday. So the events that the Impact Group and Tuscarawas Arts Partnership actually starts at 11 on Sunday. So they requested that it would try to keep it, if we could do DORA at 12 on Sunday. So that's what the DORA board came up with that. We did not start it at 11 when the event starts. So that's what was discussed, and that is what is in the amendment. Also, just for additional information, I sent out this email to everybody in council earlier. It was stated at last council meeting that we would wait a year before revisiting this. Just wanted to clear that up because there was a lot of conversations. We dealt with DORA for 4 to 5 months. To clarify, the resolution 10/2024 that was passed in section 4 did state that we would review it again in January of 25. And that process began with the Impact Group. They met and discussed, and they gave us information to the DORA board. The DORA board discussed, and by the time it came to council, that's when it came last time. So it was in the resolution. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that was in the legislation that was passed. So that was not a random thought to do it early. It was passed in the resolution 10/2024, which I can get a copy of that for anybody that needs it. So that clears up two things that were brought up. And again, Marvin, I don't know if you can help me a little bit, but just because I feel like there was a lot of emails going around that were, you know, what is council and what is the door board and mayor has the right to do. Maybe you won't, I don't want to put you on the spot, but because there's a lot of stuff the door board and the mayor have decisions over, like the signage, and then council has some, but I think it was all kind of getting put into one, and I just want to, maybe you can help with that a little bit.
Well, signage, I would think, falls under the purview of the mayor, and how you want the signage to appear. And I think that the city has broad discretion in that regard. Certainly, I'm sure the mayor would work with Dora on that aspect. Council has to decide what the hours to be for Dora, obviously, if they want to expand the hours. And what was the other part you want to ask about?
That's just, I'm just trying to separate it because it's, I didn't want everybody sitting here and think council is making a decision on a lot of stuff that I think Carrie brought up, and maybe the mayor can speak on this too, or we can let Carrie get up. You know, that's more Dora board and the mayor
Right.
past the issue of disagreeing with going Dora full-time. There was signage verbiage, and there's some other things I can let the mayor speak on. But that's what I just want to kind of get out there, that council's doing one thing, the door board and the mayor's doing another thing, so that it doesn't get crossed up, I guess. Mayor, maybe you want to speak on that just to
Yeah.
kind of help with that.
Yeah, Councilman Kreinbill's correct. With the legislation, council just sets the hours.
Correct.
But as far as the signage and things like that, yeah, I can work with the door board on that.
Yeah.
And,
And it's also, you know, worth noting, that will not start the next day.
No.
It is, you cannot have Dora without signs up.
Right.
So if this gets, it's not gonna get voted on today, but April 14th will be our next meeting. It can't start April 15th because, again, you have to have the signs up in order to have Dora.
correct.
So we can continue to work with the Empower Tusk, as, again, this is me speaking on behalf of the Dora Board now. The Dora Board can continue to work with Empower Tusk and the mayor on how we want those signs to read. You know, I do feel bad for Jim and Debbie Nisley and the Impact Group and Wilma Mullet and Tuscarawas Art Partnership. They have their first event May 4th. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to get them to get on their marketing stuff. They won't even know if this is going full-time or stay temporary until April 14th. So I do apologize to them for that, but we'll do the best we can to try to get this thing wrapped up April 14th,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yeah,
From-
they can go ahead with their marketing because they have it for special events.
Correct.
So that's no issue. So they're gonna have a schedule, which I think is great.
So they're making flyers, I just wanted to correct, so they're making flyers right now for like art stuff, like they can't market on that, I did misspeak.
Well, they
Cheryl.
can say
Yeah.
door, because it's special events that they're gonna get permit for. I think that should continue. But, one of the concerns you had before was and I didn't know the city employees were doing this, putting the signs up and down. An idea I came up with it, I think that we can still keep it special events, still have permanent signage, and they're gonna market the door events. So the city employees wouldn't have to take the signs up and down. And we'd have very clear marketing, or the impact would, of the special events of the city. It'd be posted on several different websites. So that we can still keep it special events, as this was passed as special events. And it would eliminate the city employees' time with the signs up and back and forth. I thought the event organizers were gonna do that. In some other cities, their Doras, they have, the event organizers are responsible for that.
NPAC is working toward that.
Yeah, and yeah, whoever the event organizer, I gave that for Mount Vernon, and Minerva's the same way.
All right, any other comments from council?
Sure. A couple things I really would like to know. We've had 2 events already. I've never heard anybody say they sold any liquor during those events. or whether any money was made on those? Did anybody report that?
All we can report is the cups sold.
And do you know how many cups were sold?
I don't have that information with me right now, no.
Kinda tough to measure the success of this without,
I can
Some results.
actually give an opinion of success. We have an owner of the venue who's putting a patio in and hoping this passes, putting money in our downtown. Gavin's has already said they're hoping to put a window in that you can come up on their patio to get it, so. I mean, these people are investing money in our downtown.
That's great.
And they believe that Dora will help them, so that I can go verbally off of conversations with those people, but we don't have the economic, we will never have an exact number of what economic benefit Dora will bring, but I will say I
we
got
will know
called.
how many.
We
cups
can
were
tell
sold.
cups, yeah, and I will say, I was actually contacted today by two of our, county commissioners, Mitch Pace and Greg Ress, and it was kinda nice to hear from them, and they realize the importance of the downtown, for all of their cities in our county, and they just wanted to make sure that they put out there, they support, small businesses and support the Dora initiative as well, so.
I did have, and just one other quick thing, is I was contacted by a couple guys who have businesses in downtown that are not in the liquor business, they're businesses. They prefer us keeping it to special events. They just don't like the idea of operating a business in an area where there's constantly could be people walking around with drinks in their front door. That's what they encourage me.
They can, their mayor.
Signs
Yeah,
up.
there's
Yeah.
signage that wouldn't
Signs,
allow
yeah.
it to come in.
No, I mean, they don't want their customers and clients walking up the sidewalk past everybody with, what they're envisioning, maybe not right. But we don't know. We have no idea. We haven't had this long enough to know whether that's an issue.
Oh, we can, yeah, go ahead, Dan.
To answer your, Tom, most of the businesses that are not restaurant related are closed by, what, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
They're
But
open.
if it starts at 12,
Yeah, they're open.
On the weekends, but they're not,
they are open.
most of those businesses.
But
what
that's, I'm not gonna tell those guys, they shouldn't be concerned about their
Sure,
business location.
Any other comments?
I just want to clarify, maybe Mary, you could help me with this. It's my understanding, reading up on all this, if a restaurant has an enclosed patio, like the Delaware and already Gavin's, they can serve liquor there in the closed, because it's
Yes,
enclosed.
in their footprint, right.
Okay,
Correct.
so he can already do that.
So Gavin's, yeah, that's why they're gonna put the windows in. Anybody
Yeah,
that's a patio.
and Delaware already has an enclosed patio, so he can already serve liquor
But
anytime.
Brew house, for an example, you would physically have to walk in, they can't bring it out.
Right.
Because they don't have an enclosed patio.
All right, any other comments?
Just
Yes,
wanted to-
Mr.
Chris, we obviously gonna run this 3 readings. Is there any way you can find out how many cups were sold during those first 2 events?
I can try to reach back out to Debbie again, yeah,
Just so we can have it.
yep. Dee
Would-
may-
would the
Dee may have
VFW
that
know?
information.
I think,
So the impact group is buying the cups from VFW and then
Right.
holding them over at Alley Cats. So the VFW would only know how many they gave the impact group. The impact group would know how many they actually sold to the area
Oh,
restaurants.
I was under the impression that VFW was selling the cups.
They are
Selling
selling
them
them,
to
but the
Alley.
impact group
Impact.
goes and buys them. That way they don't
Okay.
have, so each individual doesn't have to go to the VFW. They can just go to
I
Alley
had to
Cats.
guess there's sleeves of cups, so you
Yeah.
don't know how many of
Right.
the cups have been gone, or they ordered more yet.
Yeah, they should know how many's in the.
All right, yeah. Gonna open it up. Carrie, you do everything you want to say?
Well, the only thing I would.
Come up with the podium, please. I'm sorry.
Lieutenant McCain.
I appreciate the conversations that we've had this past week. I appreciate Chris' willingness to hold off for a third reading. We had talked about Empower Tusk coming back with certain proposals. Our alcohol committee met today. We have 11 different items that we would like to have a discussion with the DORA board and the mayor. in regards to, and they are reasonable and common sense ideas that would help put guardrails up throughout the Dora area. And so I'm looking forward to, and I think the mayor and I, we're going to meet later to talk about a meeting date coming up here soon, and have those discussions started so that we can look to see, whether or not we can find agreement in the different guardrails that Empower Tusk feels needs to be put in place to protect our youth and to protect our community norms. And so I'm looking forward to that discussion, and that's about what I have. But again, I do want to thank Chris and for coming back with the willingness to relook at those hour pieces. Power Tusk still believes that it should be an events only. However, we do look forward to working with council and with the mayor and the Dora board to come up with these common sense guardrails that we can protect our youth and our community. So again, I want to thank you for your willingness to look at those hours. Appreciate that. But again, like I said, Empower Tusk's position at this point still is it should be an events only. Dora. But appreciate the willingness to have that conversation, and we're willing to have that conversation from our perspective, and hopefully we can come to some common grounds to make this work.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Thanks.
Thank you,
All
Gary.
right, we've got another committee starting in a few minutes. I'd entertain, do we want to take the amended Resolution 8, 2025 to council tonight?
I'll make the motion.
There are second.
I'll second it.
All right, in discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Krybel?
Yes.
Mr. Lonzo?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Only because it's better, yes.
Mr. Rippett? Oh, Mr. Rippett is not here. Mr. Sears?
Yes.
Mr. Similak?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
All right, amended Resolution 8, 2025 will be on the agenda tonight for the second reading. With that, we have no further business. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr.
All right, it's 7:17. We are adjourned.
Two resolutions.
All right, Tom, you're on.
There's a meeting at 7:17, a meeting of the Safety, Health, and Public Service Committee. Mr. Walker, Mr. Sears, Chris is the alternate. Two items. One is Resolution 6, 2025. It authorizes the mayor to sell a 1949 American LaFrance fire engine that we've got in the garage down there. I went down and took a look at it with the fire chief the other day. It's been fixed up some. It's going to be donated, if we agree, to Bob Smith Funeral Home, who is building a ambulance museum in Dover.
Over.
And the only thing that's in this resolution that's drawn up, that the fire chief pointed out as well, is they're supposed to have a provision in there that says if he ever decides he's gonna shut down his museum, get rid of the fire truck or whatever, it comes back to the city, or it's at the city's discretion about what happens. So we get, so I'd like it revised to reflect that. Anybody on this committee have any comments?
No, I agree with that. And I know there's laws about what we're allowed to do with city equipment. Is this,
Yeah, I can address that if you want me to.
yeah, go ahead.
Generally, if you're disposing of old equipment, you have to put it up for auction unless it doesn't have any value. The chief sent the letter, and I sent a copy of that indicating that it would probably cost us more to tow it off the property than it's actually worth. And that's why the provision was made that you're allowed to dispose of it if it doesn't have any value. And outside of scrap metal, I don't know how much we would get for scrap on it, because it currently doesn't run. That's why it has the provision in there that if we donate it to this museum, they have to remove it themselves at their own expense. So, and that's the Ohio Revised Code does say if it's not, if it has no value to it, you can dispose of it however you
Make
see
sure
fit.
we're
Yep.
good there.
I went, yeah, I went down with the chief, it's in the south side, down by the park down there. Actually, for its age, it looks good, but it does not run, and it, obviously, he says it has no value, it has no value, certainly, none fight fires, that's for sure.
So do we need to wait and get this revised, or can we pass it with that?
Provision.
If you can revise it in committee, I'll have to rewrite it though. If you wanna, I guess, a reversion. Chief, is that something that you're interested in, having it come back to the city? Or is your goal to get rid of it altogether?
No, I think it would be prudent to have the option to take it back if we
Okay.
wanted to fix it up or do something in
All
a
right.
later date.
You don't believe our committee?
My letter was to the point of, as far as firefighting, it has no value.
I wanted to make sure he was on the
to us at
record.
this time. So,
I guess, I was just, my head, I guess, just went to like the, I don't wanna call them the antiquers that really find value in, old equipment like that. Like, there might not be any value for like firefighting, but I just didn't know if that thought had crossed anybody's head.
I know down
Putting
in
it up on, like-
Denison, they had two sitting there by their fire station in that yard.
Mhm.
And they basically paid somebody to come take
Oh,
them away.
really?
Yeah.
Okay,
As far as value with the government anyways.
right.
And it's from the nineties, right, chief? It's not like, I came out of the nineties, so.
1949.
Oh, it's older, oh, okay, I thought,
I was,
France
I mean,
fire.
it's, I would think
I must have read that as 94.
Have you seen it?
Take a look, it's got some wooden ladders. Yeah,
So it is an antique, he's right. I
But I
didn't
think
think
it'd
it
be
was
great
that
to
old.
have it in a museum,
Yeah.
you know, if that's,
value
if
is
that's
in the eyes of the
in
beholder, right? I mean,
plan
it just
for it.
depends on, you might have a guy who loves nineteen
So
forty-nine
do we
fire
need to
trucks.
approve work?
Yeah, it'll have to
Tom's
be,
question?
if, what we need is a motion to revise it and then put it on the agenda. I'll revise it and send it back out for the next council meeting.
Could we get somebody to make that a motion?
I'll make that motion to put it on the agenda revised. or-
Revise
Revise.
with the reversion that
With
it
the
comes back to the
revision,
city
yes.
if the museum should ever fold.
Yes. And you second it?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fine. So it comes back to our committee, or it goes to directly to the agenda?
If the motion is for it to go on the agenda with that revision,
It
then
is.
we can do that. That's what we'll do then.
That is our motion, is it not? Good. I got one other resolution here, and I just got it from President Kemp today. Barbara had sent it a couple days ago. But it's kind of a routine thing, and what we need to do is empower the mayor to apply for block grants, which are used, you can tell them what you're gonna use it for.
I'll yield my time to the service director who actually, is in charge of the CDBG program.
Oh, sure. This is resolution 9/2025.
This is 2025, yeah,
Right.
9, right.
Last year, well, the previous year before that, I recognized an area that we was going to start revitalizing. And for Councilman Sears' benefit, it's every 2 years, we receive $150,000, and it's 95% of the time, it's just on curbs and sidewalks in neighborhoods. LMI eligible neighborhoods is where you can use these.
Low to moderate income, LMI.
Yeah, so, before last year's project, which we did College Avenue, from Tuscarawas to 12th, and then a little bit on 11th Street. And, so, the legislation tonight is to go out and get the grant money for, we'll actually do, the project will be in '26. And, if everyone remembers, I guess we said, besides Councilman Sears, is we recognize that area from College to West High, from Tuscarawas Avenue to 12th Street. I envision every year, for as long as I'm here, to continue in that area until that area is complete. again, so this is just go out, get the grant money, bring it in. Again, like I say, next year's project will be 11th Street, we're going down 11th. And I think right now we'll go down to 11th. And I didn't get any prices in yet as far as how far we'll get, but we'll just continue all the way down through there until we get all the way over to West High Avenue. I hope my predecessor sees the value in that too someday. So, because I think it's a worthwhile project.
So as I understand, the resolution for this committee empowers the mayor to apply for those grants, is that correct?
Correct.
Is that correct? We got it a little late, we could put it off, but I don't see any reason.
It doesn't need to be passed tonight,
No,
but if you, whatever
there's no
your
reason
will
to
is,
stand on the ceremony and say, well, we came too late for us, so
whatever your will is.
I'm willing to pass it tonight, it depends on you guys.
We've had it every year also since I've been here. Started out and it was the increase in pricing, of concrete and that stuff started going up. It was giving us 75,000 years. Still only giving you the same amount of money, but instead of, you're gonna get more bang for your buck when that contractor only mobilizes one time, does $150,000 worth of work, instead of coming in and doing 75,000 work and then leaving, and then comes right back next year. So it's worked out good for pricing and so on.
I guess I don't wanna run us late, but I know as you're coming down 11th Street, once you get to, the trailer court, Miller Avenue and the trailer court, basically the sidewalk and curbs end completely.
Yeah, there's
So-
none right there. As soon as you come off of College, the house on the one corner there has none either, but
Right.
we'll put it there.
So we'll
Sure.
continue sidewalks, so we'll have a continued.
Yeah,
Because
the
that's
same
always
way
been my
with-
question is why they're, because it comes down Maple and ends at the curve,
Yeah,
and then, it doesn't pick back up
Right.
until, well, I
right.
guess that's Ray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to, put it on the agenda tonight and, suspend the rules and pass it on first reading.
Right?
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. We want to put that on the agenda. Yep. That's it. You got 3 minutes to spare.
You can adjourn.
We can adjourn.
So
I need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Walker made the motion to adjourn.
All right, you got about 3 minutes, guys.
That's good.
This meeting in New Philadelphia, City Council will now come to order. Would you please rise, remain standing for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Mr. Walker.
Bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this beautiful city. Thank you for everybody here's willingness to serve this city and make decisions based on you. Be with our first responders and those out there that, no pun intended, but keep the lights on during this weather. Just keep them safe also. Be with us this evening as we just group together and make decisions and pass law to help this city be a better place. We pray all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you and welcome to tonight's council meeting. We'll start off with roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Here.
Mr. Lanzer.
Here.
Mrs. Ramos.
Here,
Mr. Rippeth. Mr. Sears.
Here.
Mr. Simmelink.
Here.
Mr. Walker.
Here.
All right, let it be known that Mr. Griffith has been excused as he's a little under the weather tonight, so he is excused. All right, everybody had a chance to look at the agenda for tonight. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, Mr. President, I have two resolutions. One is Resolution 9-2025. I'd like you to suspend the rules and pass that tonight.
All right, so we need to add to the agenda. Do you have a motion to it?
We
To
have
add?
Yeah,
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Yeah, I'll second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sears. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
yes.
Mr. Simmelink.
yes.
All right, are there any other additions?
I got another,
Yes.
Mr. Pres. Resolution 6-2025. We'd like to submit that along with revision. How do we do that?
Well, we can't do a reading on it tonight because they don't have it before them, but,
Right.
so it wouldn't technically be on the agenda because we don't have an actual, resolution with that language in it.
So we wait till the next meeting?
Next meeting, it would automatically be on the agenda.
We can put it on the agenda tonight for first reading.
And
They
I'd like
come
to
back
do-
next time for second, correct?
No, because
Can't?
I didn't know about the revision until tonight.
Okay,
So I
alright.
could, and revision, I mean, which is actually a reversion, it's a reversion, that it would revert back to the city. I didn't know that
Reversion.
council wanted to do that.
Yeah.
until
All right,
tonight,
so
or
we'll keep
I
that
sent it
one
out
till
Friday.
next, for the next council meeting on the 14th of April.
Yep.
All right,
So we won't have, will we have to have another meeting for his?
No, because you guys already voted, you voted to authorize me to make that revision to it, and then to have it added to the agenda, so it'll be on the agenda for the next reading.
Okay. What do we have to do now?
Amended 8.
all right, any other additions? I know we had the one out of the council of whole amended 8.
Yes. Sorry, I put that one away. 8/2025. We amended it just the hours that had to do with DORA if we go full-time.
So it'll be on the 8th for the second
Second
reading.
reading, correct.
Do I have a second to put that on the agenda tonight?
It's already on the
It's already
agenda.
on, it's just, it's
Alright.
It's
amending.
just
was
amended,
already-
okay.
It's amended.
All right, I'm correcting that. All right. Are there any other additions? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight. Mr. Crime Mr. Walker, second, thank you. Any discussion by administration? Council, roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes,
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simmelink.
Yes.
All right, our agenda has been approved. Minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from last council meeting? Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing and entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Walker, need a second. Mr. Ramos, thank you. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Sears.
Yes.
Mr. Simile.
Yes.
All right, our minutes have been approved. Correspondence, Ms. Courtright.
To council and administration from Auditor Heather Denham dated March 17th, 2025. This is an email titled 2025 Revenue and Expense Budgets. To Clerk of Council from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control dated March 11th, 2025. This is a D2 permit class liquor license request from Eagle Auto Plaza, doing business as Eagle Auto Truck Plaza Restaurant and Carryout. I forwarded the request to President Kemp, who assigned it to the Special and Contact Committee. To council and administration from Auditor Heather Denham dated March 20th, 2025. This is an email titled 2025 Permanent Appropriations, and this was replied to by Councilman Kreinbell. To council and administration from Mayor Day dated March 21st, 2025. This is an email titled Please Hold Resolution 8, 2025, and this was replied to by Councilman Kreinbell and Dora Board Chair D. Grossman. And to council and administration from Mayor Day dated March 24th, 2025, the mayor's report. And that concludes correspondence for this evening, Mr.
All
President.
right, thank you, Ms. Courtright. Move on to our administrative reports. As always, first up, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members, fellow administrators and guests. A couple things I want to touch on the report I sent you earlier today. If you haven't heard, the ground was broken last Friday to mark the start of construction of the Muskingum Watershed Conservancy District's new headquarters on Tech Park Drive Northeast. The project should take about a year to complete, and when it's finished, MWCD's offices will be moving from the current location on 3rd Street Northwest into the new headquarters building, which is designed to blend into the natural hillside setting of the Regional Technology Park. I'm grateful to MWCD's Board of Directors for choosing to keep the headquarters in our city. And as I stated in my speech at the groundbreaking ceremony, for New Philadelphia, the impact of this new headquarters will be significant. Not only will it enhance the efficiency of MWCD's operations, it will also provide a welcoming space for the public, fostering engagement and collaboration across our community. The facility is strategically designed to attract new opportunities and reinforce our region as a hub for environmental stewardship, business, and recreation. And I ask residents to be mindful of the construction vehicle traffic that'll be going up and down the Tech Park Drive throughout the duration of the project. Also, I want to give you an update on the lobbying day that we attended in Columbus. These are things that we all have to be aware of, and at every opportunity you can, reach out to state legislators and share your thoughts. Attempts by the Ohio legislature to further erode municipalities' home rule, increasing the amount of local government funds to counties and municipalities, and the financial burden of mandating increased contributions to Ohio's Police and Fire Pension Fund were the main topics of discussion at the annual lobbying day session I attended last week in Columbus. The event was organized by both the Ohio Municipal League and the Mayor's Partnership for Progress. Senate Bill 104 would prevent municipalities from using home rule to create their own policies to regulate the location and operation of short-term rentals, such as bed and breakfast and Airbnb and Vrbo rentals. So we discussed that with Senator Landis, and I would encourage you to also discuss that with him. Currently, 1.7% of the state's general fund is returned to counties and municipalities as local government funding. OML members like New Philadelphia are urging legislators to increase that amount to 2.25%. Governor DeWine is proposing an increase of 1.75%. And in my opinion, that would do little to help local governments deal with the rising cost of providing city services. At the Mayor's Partnership for Progress session I attended, Sarah Beal, who is the policy director for the Ohio Mayors Alliance, said her organization has been working with legislators to create a public safety fund as a means to help pay for the rising cost of fire and police services. 1/2% of the state's general fund would be placed into that public safety fund. Cities, villages, and township with safety forces would then receive a share of the fund based on their payroll amounts. And in the afternoon, I joined Newcomers Town Mayor Pat Cadle and Baltic Mayor Doug Plyer in a meeting with our state representative Jody Salvo and Senator Landis. We discussed these issues and other concerns we had with state government and funding and also state legislation, and they listened. And they pledged to continue to advocate for Tuscarawas County's communities. Before I turn this, the rest of my time over to the Health Commissioner, I want to say happy anniversary to Ron McAbeer, who's now celebrating, 33 years with the city?
Yes.
He expected a gold watch.
Yeah,
We're gonna give him an attaboy.
I didn't know anything about this, by the way.
Well, thank you, Ron. You know, this city depends upon you, you know that. Okay, we appreciate it. Council President Kemp, I'd like to give the remainder of my time to retiring City Health Commissioner Vicki Iono, who will discuss the Health Department's annual report and introduce Nicole Bache, who is the city Health Board chose to become the city's next health commissioner. So Vicki, if you would take the podium.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Do you think there's any traction to getting more 1.7 local funds back?
No,
No.
I
Okay.
don't.
You answered my question, okay.
No.
Vicky, yes.
Well, good evening, everyone.
No, they didn't.
As most of you just heard, I am retiring on May 31st. I feel very privileged to have worked for the Health Department over the past 14 years. I wanted to take this opportunity to also thank the members of the New Philadelphia City Council, Mayor Joel Day, my Board of Health, and especially thank my hardworking staff who's gave all their support. It has been a real privilege. Now I'd like to introduce my successor, Nicole Bache. After 18 years of serving as our Director of Nursing, she comes with a wealth of knowledge and experience. She has been selected by our Board of Health as your next Health Commissioner, starting on June 1st. Please welcome Nicole.
Good evening. 18 years ago, when Commissioner Robis first offered me a position as a nurse in the New Philadelphia City Health Department, I never could have imagined that I would discover my true passion in the field of public health. Yet here I stand today, deeply passionate about what I do. I am proud to serve this community and eager to work alongside of all of you to help this community thrive. I have been incredibly fortunate to have had the guidance and support of Commissioner Iono, whose mentorship has been invaluable over the years. Moving forward, I'm committed to working tirelessly to continue advancing our department's mission, always leading with integrity and a strong sense of purpose. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to Mayor Day and the Board of Health for placing their trust in me to carry forward the mission and the vision of the New Philadelphia City Health Department. I'm excited for the journey ahead, and I look forward for all that we can accomplish together. I would like to give the remainder of our time to our Accreditation Coordinator and Workforce Development Coordinator, Dana Fischio. Dana has put much time and effort this year into publishing our 2024 annual reports, and I would like for her to share some highlights that we are most proud of with you.
Good evening, everyone. Nicole is passing around a copy of our annual report, and I'd just like to take a few minutes to go over a few highlights that sort of express in a snapshot all that we've accomplished in the past year. Once we get that passed out, I'd like everyone to turn to page 4 in the report, and it's the one with the circle on the page. And the reason why I'd like to start on page 4 is because this little seal in the margin here, that symbolizes 5 years of hard work. In May of 2024, the New Philadelphia City Health Department was awarded national accreditation by the Public Health Accreditation Board. And that accreditation is something that is required of us. And what that seal symbolizes is that our small department of 8 staff provides the same high-quality service, the same high-quality work that other health departments across the nation do. So our staff provides the same high-quality service that other much larger health departments do. And if you'll take a minute to read the report, you'll see that the New Philadelphia City Health Department is one of 396 health departments in the entire nation that has been awarded that. In the entire nation, we're doing the same high-quality work as only 396 health departments in the entire nation. So that's something that we're very proud of. As you flip through the report, I'll go very briefly. It just mentions, it highlights some of the other divisions that we have, our vital statistics, our environmental health, and our clinical divisions. And you can read that information on your own. But the other part that I wanted to highlight are the last 2 pages in the annual report. That is something that we call our community footprint. And that is a snapshot of just some of the numbers that we have done throughout the year. It provides a look at the number of tires that our environmental health division have collected. It provides a snapshot of the number of clinic visits that our nurses have accomplished. It provides a snapshot of the number of acres that we have sprayed for mosquitoes. So that is just a small snapshot of the work that we accomplished in 2024. The second page that we provided tonight is something that we called a services summary. And that again is a snapshot of the work that we do. And you can see that our department completed almost 18,000 services in 2024. 18,000 services among eight people. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty proud of that. And then the graphs provide a breakdown of the work that each division accomplished, our clinic, our environmental health, and our vital stats. And then within that graph, it provides the number of services each program provided. So that's kind of a snapshot of everything that we did in 2024. So that's all that I really wanted to explain tonight, was to provide the report to council, and if you had any questions that I could try to answer them for you.
Do we have any questions? Hear none. Thank you. You guys do a fabulous job, and I know I've only been here 5 years, but you guys go above and beyond. So, Vicki, hope you enjoy your retirement. Nicole, big shoes to fill, but I know you can do that, so look forward to working with you. Any other questions?
I just want to say thanks
Yes.
for having me and Councilman Sears last Thursday. You know, I know Mayor Day always says you gotta go visit him, so I finally did do that, and I took Councilman Sears too, and we went and had a good meeting with him. It was nice getting to meet everybody and all the staff, and anybody else that hasn't done that, I encourage you to do it, just like Mayor's encouraged us to do it like numerous times, so thanks for having us. And keep
Thank
working
you,
hard.
we appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. And thank you, Vicki, for all your service, that's awesome.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to Service Director, Mr. McAbear, 33 years.
Yeah.
You don't
Smart
look
guy,
that- You don't look that old.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mayor, for that. I figured you had to throw cutie in there, you did. This week, the Roswell Trail grubbing and clearing will start, so if anybody's out that way or someone may call, I know a lot of it's in Goshen Township as far as that rail, through the rail there, but they will start that. I look for them tomorrow. They talked about today, but after speaking with them, said they got something that came up and they had to finish before they headed this way. So you'll see that, and that has to be done to set boundaries for the environmental work that's got to be done. So they got the boundaries where they're set, and then they come in and know the boundaries and do all the environmental work prior to moving forward with this project. So again, that'll start happening this week. Anybody happens to call, anything sees anything out there, that's what's going on out the Roswell Trail.
Where's it start at?
Hillendale and end up on 39, all on that, I guess I consider it the north side, but over that through there. So that's phase one. Okay, and then also, at the last council meeting on the 10th, we talked about Glen Drive Phase 2, and I talked about T.R. Schneider. We did award that on the 14th to T.R. Schneider, and again, they've been in town before. They did some CDBG projects for us and some water line projects for us. They're out of Worcester, very responsive to complaints or anything like that, so it was not only that they give us the best bid, but highly recommended. Like I said, I've worked with them on a couple different projects before. So we did award that, and like I say, it was just under 500,000. And I think I had mentioned at the last meeting that we had one that was 629,000. So there was quite a difference there in pricing. But again, T.R. Schneider was awarded that on the 14th. And then, like I had mentioned before, they'll start as soon as school's out in June to try to get through there and get that paved back in before school starts back up in August. So they'll be humping back through that area. Also, at the last meeting, they was coming in to do the trail striping, putting down the thermoplastic tape. That has been completed. They thought 2 days, as everybody knows out there, they was down there for about 5 days. They had 4 days that week. Monday, they finally finished up, but it is completed there. You know, we still have to do, like I mentioned before, some manholes need raised. We have some reclamation work and all the curb strips all the way up through there needs to be done yet. So that all needs completed. But that, and they have not got back with us on when that will be. I don't look for them to start making hot mix until end of April, middle April at the earliest, just depends on weather. So once I get an update on that, I'll let you know when they plan on coming back in. But they did get it done. And I believe, after talking to some people around the community, we have the first Sharrows in Tuscarawas County. So, I was talking to a guy the other day, it's like, those are the first ones that we have, so, we ought to be proud of ourselves for that. Also, I wanted to bring up, that CBD project. I just believe, you know, passing it tonight is great, and I just want to stay in that area, because I feel passionate about that area, and I want to stay in there. So, and like I said before, and I'll say it publicly now, I hope my predecessor notices that also. That's under my report.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. McNamara. Safety Director, if you notice on the wall, we've got Mr.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
plaque up for him. So, you know, Greg is gonna be missed, and so I thank Julie for getting on that and got it
That's
printed
awesome.
and put up there, so it's a gold plate up there, so, tribute to Greg, and like I said, he definitely will be missed, and, look forward to, I don't know, a replacement. You got a time frame, or,
I would say within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
okay,
We'll have a new one.
all right, thanks.
We're interviewing right now.
All right, move on to auditor, Mrs. Denham.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the ordinance ready for tonight's passage. First, I want to thank all the department heads and everybody who worked with me on that. My own staff and my department has done a lot to help me with this budget, and I really appreciate their help. Expenses are increasing, of course, all across the board. Revenues, not so much. We had a few positions that were vacant, recently became vacant. We're not filling those positions. We've had to cut some equipment and some other capital improvements, and we can't continue to cut those. We're eventually going to need to do those, so we're going to have to figure out some kind of revenue stream. We used to, in prior years, get quite a few grants, and those aren't coming in any longer. So this is going to be a tight budget, and we'll work with the departments to try to keep it on track and hope the revenue that we're estimating that will come in, I hope that comes in. So we'll keep a close eye on it and go from there.
Right, thank you for all your work. I know from a meeting last week, I mean, your budget was so much easier to understand than previous years, so we thank you for that, and we'll get the budget passed. Any questions for the auditor? All right, now we'll move on to treasurer, Mr. Gerber.
No report, sir.
All right, law director, Mr. Fate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have spent an inordinate amount of time in the last 2 weeks dealing with budgetary issues and working closely with the auditor. And let me just say, I am happy to see this budget get passed, because I'm anxious to go back to just being an attorney and not dealing with budget issues. I don't envy Heather, but I do want to thank her for a tremendous amount of hard work she put in with a very difficult situation. I got a small taste of it for 2 weeks, and I think she's doing a tremendous job. And I also want to thank the Councilman Rippeth, the chairman of the Finance Committee, as well as the members of the Finance Committee, who I thought did a super job at bringing in this budget the way that it was brought in. I also want to, Ron isn't one to hear these things, but I want to thank Ron McAbeer for his 33 years of service. He's not that much older than I am, but I've only been an attorney for 22 years. I don't know how he got in 33, but he's a hard worker, he's a good man, and he's somebody that I really appreciate working with and appreciate the job that he does.
Thank you.
Now, I'm hoping we're gonna have Vicki back at some point in time when she retires to honor her, so I don't want to belabor how thankful I am for her and the work that she's done. That accreditation, though, I will say, is huge. That was a revision that the mayor and I went down with Vicki to get the state legislature to include that, and that's something that is a big, big deal. That's something that I know she worked hard on. I came and testified when the accreditation people were here for that, and working with you during COVID was difficult, but one of the highlights of my professional and public career. So I just want to thank you for that, and I hope we have you. I'm sure we'll have you back to honor you, and you'll probably hear these same accolades again. But thank you for your service, and best of luck too, Nicole.
Yeah, we're not gonna let you retire that easy.
Roast you.
There you go. All right, we'll move into our board commission reports. First up, Planning Commission, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Planning Commission will be meeting on April 8th at 1 PM here in council chambers, and we're still working on the agenda.
All right. Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board of Zoning Appeals will meet here in council chambers at 5 PM on April the 8th also.
All right. Airport Commission, Mr. Alonso.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Airport Commission will be meeting April 15th at 6 PM at the airport, at the Harry Cleaver Field Airport Meeting.
All right. Park Board, Mr. Sears.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report tonight. I was unable to attend the meeting this month.
All right. Health Board, Mr. Simmelink.
Health Department gave their own report tonight, and that was wonderful. And of course, we all wish Vicki well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Move into our council committee reports. First up is finance, and Mr. Ripper is under weather, so we'll go to Public Works and Economic Development. Ms. Alonso.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
All right. Safety, Health, and Service, Mr. Simmelink.
No reports.
All right. Zoning and Annexation, Mrs. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
All right, salary, Mr. Granville.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
Cemetery, Mr. Sears.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did just want to say quick, I might need Mr. McAbeer's help here when I get into specifics, but I just wanted to make sure, I'm not sure how long ago the project started, but I wanted to make sure everybody was aware the VFW donated, I think upwards of, it was $20,000 is what they donated for a very nice memorial stone to be placed down at the Schönbrunn Meadows Cemetery. So there was some talk about that at the last meeting. They're donating the stone. And then I think the city's responsible for some foundational work or setting it and whatnot. So I can give this to Julie and she can put it in a PDF to send it out to everybody. But I just thought it was worth mentioning because it's a significant piece of stone.
Also, Mr. Sears, if I could, I had asked, I had reached out to Bob also, and he did say that he was willing to have Buckeye help us with that. So I said, I told him that let's have some further conversations, meeting this week. So I think Superintendent Herron and I will go down and meet with Bob. But I did reach out, and Bob did say he was willing to do so. He thought that, and I don't want to, he had talked one class, clearing it, getting it ready, and then naturally the masonry class as far as doing the concrete and stuff work. But there was two different disciplines of students that would be part of it. But Bob did say, by all means, that he was willing to help if he can make it work. And I did tell him that, it's Veterans Day is when they want to actually, so we do have time. I told him, I went over the fact that we have a couple school years. If we got to get in a bind, would I like to get it done this year? And Bob didn't seem too concerned about finishing it this year, but I just wanted to let you know that there was a conversation with
Thank you.
Buckeye. Yes.
Yeah, I tell you what, the VFW has been really great stuff. They've donated a lot of stuff.
Yeah, very generous.
Very generous. Special contact, Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report. We did have a discussion about a liquor license. Do we need to go through that now? Do you want to do that now?
We gotta do a voice vote.
We gotta do, yeah.
We do,
Oh, yeah,
we can do it now,
Okay.
so.
So we had a liquor license renewal come through for Eagle Truck Stop. At our council as a whole meeting earlier, we agreed that it did not need a hearing. So I guess we need to take a voice vote on it right now. Yes means no.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell,
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Sears,
Yes.
Mr. Simmelink,
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
All right, we'll get that submitted that we do not need a hearing. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
All right, the floor is now open for visitors' comments. Anyone wishing to address council should rise. State your name and address and address all comments to the chair. You will have 5 minutes. All right, hearing none, council comments. Do we have any councilmen that want to make some comments tonight? If not, we'll move into the legislative agenda.
Ordinance number 5, 2025, an ordinance to allocate funds collected under the City of New Philadelphia income tax ordinance for the 2025 fiscal year and declaring an emergency, second reading.
Is there any action taken by council on this ordinance tonight? Hearing none, we held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Ordinance number 6, 2025, an ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of New Philadelphia, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency, first reading.
Is there any action taken by council on this ordinance tonight? Yes, Mr. Cranville.
Make a motion that we suspend the rules and pass on first reading ordinance number 6, 2025.
Do I have a second? Mr. Lanzer. All right, thank you. In discussion on administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell?
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Sears?
Yes.
Mr. Simmelink?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
All right, rules have been suspended. Mr. Cranville,
I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance number 6, 2025.
do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. In discussion by community, administration, yes, Mr. Roman.
I just want to clarify for everybody why we're suspending the rules and passing our first reading is because March 31st is the deadline. So we're kind of in a crunch here, and so that's why.
And we also met last Tuesday.
Yeah,
at
we
2
met last
o'clock. We had a
Tuesday.
finance committee so that department heads could make it if they chose to too. So just so people know that we did meet as a finance committee last Tuesday.
Yeah,
as
they've
well.
been working on
'Cause
this
Mr.
for a
Rippus
long
wasn't here
time.
to say that.
I didn't see rendition 5 until last Tuesday, but
Yeah.
that if you, rendition 5, so that means there was a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Heather's worked really hard on this. Thank you.
Yes. Any other council comments? Roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell?
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Sears?
Yes.
Mr. Simmelink?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
All right. Ordinance 6, 2025 is passed.
Resolution number 5, 2025, a resolution by the Council of the City of New Philadelphia in support of State Issue 2, renewal of the State Capital Improvement Program on the May 6, 2025 statewide ballot and declaring an emergency, second reading.
Is there any action taken by council on this resolution tonight? Hearing none, it will be held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Amended Resolution 8, 2025, a resolution by the Council of the City of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to amend Resolution 10, 2024, to amend DORA hours of operation and declaring an emergency, second reading.
Is there any action taken by council on this resolution tonight? Right, hearing none, it will be held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution 9, 2025, a resolution by the Council of the City of New Philadelphia, Tuscarawas County, Ohio, authorizing and directing the mayor of the said City of New Philadelphia to act as the signature designee and to file an application for financial assistance under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, PL 93-383, to the Office of Community Development, Division of the Ohio Development Services Agency, Office of Local Government Services, and to accept the same upon award and declaring an emergency, first reading.
Is there any action taken by council on this resolution tonight?
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Mr. Blank,
Yeah, I'd like to suspend the rules and pass it tonight.
do I have a second?
A second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Walker. In discussion by
Question.
administration, council, yes.
Question. Is this the one you had to amend?
That's the other one.
No,
That's the other one?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Or any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Simmelink?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell?
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Sears?
Yes.
All right, rules have been suspended. Mr. Simmelink, would you like to make a motion to pass?
Would I like to what?
Make a motion to pass it.
I move we pass? Yeah.
I'll second.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you. In discussion by the community, administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Simmelink?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell?
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Sears?
Yes.
All right, resolution 9, 2025 is passed.
And that concludes legislation for this evening, Mr.
All right,
President.
thank you, Ms. Courtright. Is there any unfinished road business?
Mr. President,
Yes,
if
Mr.
I could have Julie sign that then and send it to me after the mayor signs it also, so I can send that along?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any new business for tonight? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. President.
All right, 8:09, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.